I like hanging on the paper too. I feel like a newscaster. So.
And you're on.
All right.
We're on.
Good
We're live.
morning. Happy
Good morning, everybody.
Thursday.
Very exciting day today. Let me first start by saying that I have been MIA for like 3 days. So I thank you guys for getting this all set up and holding the rope, making sure everything kept going off. We had our ACES meetings this week for our community youth achievement, and it was crazy. It was busy. It was hectic.
All
Oh, yeah.
day
And I'm really glad I didn't have to worry about work. So thank you guys.
Hey, yep, that's our job. We got to hold the rope when we can.
Yes.
Yeah. So that being said, this is you guys. I don't even know what we got going on.
What do we
here,
got going
so-
on, Christy? Tell us.
Well, really, Easter. We just finished
Easter.
up Easter. Everyone, did you guys have a good Easter?
Oh, I had a great Easter. You know, we get with the family, have a big brunch.
Easter egg hunt?
Yeah, I didn't do that this year. No.
So much
I went
going
fishing,
on in
so-
town. Yeah, you
Yeah.
caught a fish. Pretty impressive.
I'm an elite fisherman.
Oh, okay.
Just one?
One.
Listen,
I mean, maybe two.
It's about quality, okay?
Okay. All right, we'll go with that.
We also had Kona Ice here.
Yep.
And Adam did not let us down. Like, he joined
I
in.
knew it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you did you guys see that video I made?
Yeah, did you get it, Jeff?
Yeah, you want to see it?
Yeah,
Let's play it.
let's
Okay,
see.
here it
Listen,
is
this
right
cracked me up. This
Yeah.
was so funny.
No, not that one. The one where I was making fun of Adam.
here. Oh, yeah, I got that one too. I can play that. Yeah.
Yeah, let's check that one out.
I didn't know you wanted to see
It
that
was just so funny that we talked about it, and then he went out and fulfilled the prophecy.
Yeah.
Of course he did, dude. He
Yes.
loves it.
So
Well-
that was
Also,
the funniest part.
a little insight on that she may be coming to visit us.
Oh.
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah, let's listen.
really?
Very exciting, but that's you guys. You guys.
Well, and I'm
are-
hoping she brings some Kona Ice that day, too.
Did you
Yeah.
put that on our page or their?
That's on the Finley Used Car Center
Used
Instagram
Car
page.
Center, okay.
Under the reels. Yeah, but so that video of Adam was actually from the last time they were here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure when that was, but
So I heard through the Kona Ice grapevine that he had 3 Konas.
wow.
Wow.
He really takes advantage
Great
of
job,
the free.
Adam. He's just got a belly full of ice all day.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, while
I'm
he's
looking for it.
While he's looking it up, have you guys? This might not be big in your world, but in my world, the Mexican pizza's back from Taco Bell.
Oh my gosh.
gosh.
That's kind of my
So
world.
listen, I'm gonna lose some friends here. I don't eat Taco Bell, so
You shouldn't. It's not that great.
I have no idea when
Even
it
if you
became.
don't like it, the
Yeah.
Mexican pizza
Yeah.
is back.
I've never had one.
Oh, I'm gonna make you one.
Taco Bell's that place
You
where
don't have to. They have it at Taco Bell.
I know. Now I don't.
Yeah,
have
they
to
brought
make
it back. Look, it's on the screen.
I'm so excited about this.
it's almost contagious. Like if you eat there once, then you're like, oh yeah, okay, I can go back. But
Yeah,
if you
no.
just stay away from it, then
I'm
you're
not
good.
a Taco Bell guy, so
Well-
every time I see one of these like Taco Bell phenomenons, I tell you, young kids love Taco Bell, and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Well, you should try the Mexican
Yeah,
pizza.
no, listen,
maybe.
I eat enough
Maybe.
pizza. I don't need
All
Mexican
right, well,
pizzas.
let's talk about Bullhead Bike Week. This is
Yep.
a big deal in our world, obviously.
A lot of bikers coming to town.
Yeah, sounds very interesting, and we have a good guest to talk to that
I
about.
know.
So
Wait till you guys see who our
yeah,
guest is.
we went the opposite direction from last week, so it was very fun to talk to Larry. But we're gonna talk to someone from the other side of the table. So
So there's the flyer for it right there. If anyone
Yes.
needs to know any information.
So we got the
Got it.
flyer. There's a bike raffle. We got Quiet Riot in town. There's some big things happening with that for sure.
we got a lot of stuff on here.
Yeah,
I
we
know.
do.
Yeah.
Desert Storm.
Desert
in
Storm. Yeah, I
Havasu.
might go up there and get some shots of all the boats and stuff. You know, because they have the boats. What's that main road called? Where the party street where they have them all
McCullough?
sideways? McCullough? Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't they have them all sideways
The,
like that?
Yeah, what do they call it? Street show, street fair, or
Yeah.
something?
I've
Street
never been
party.
there for it.
I think it'd be pretty cool.
Listen, these boats are like my boat is like
A
the
baby
front
boat, too?
quarter of it.
Yeah.
You know.
There's
so-
a there's a
my
photo of
God.
it right there. A couple of the boats. They have to
Yeah.
bring them in sideways. They're so big.
That's insane when you see that
Well,
on
and
the
they
highway.
do somewhat of a poker run down
Yeah.
the lake, which is
Listen,
pretty
it's
cool.
the weirdest thing when you're out on the river, right? And you have like me and my little boat, some guy in his fishing boat, and then $1 million
giant-
offshore boat flies
Yeah,
by.
that's a
You're
little-
like,
Insane.
it's
Like,
super
what,
impressive.
$2 million?
yeah, you're like, what am I doing here? You know. So
I should probably
anyway.
go back to the other side.
Yeah. So very fun event. So always a lot of fun.
Yes. Let's talk about, in town this week, and it is endless. So we have Loki, her Eat, Drink to be Married is happening this
Loki
weekend.
Lau?
Yeah. Sudden Link, Bullhead's putting on a bubble party at the Sudden Link Center
Wonder
on
if there are any
Friday.
bikers at that.
Well, no, I would
The
not
bubble party?
think so.
Like SpongeBob?
But
you
we
know?
were invited.
Yeah. Oh, you
Do you
guys should
wanna
definitely
to the
go.
bubble- I thought you would throw
Yeah.
that on to
Yeah.
us for
Yeah, that sounds
sure.
like a great event for Christy.
I might
Yeah.
go to this right here, the Loki Expo.
Yeah, it's a big one. Looks like there's going to
Oh,
be
you
a
want
lot
me to
of
go
people
back to
there.
that?
No, it's
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
That one, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I might go
Yeah.
to that.
That's right up Destry's alley.
That's
All
up
the
my
video
alley.
and photography there.
Yeah.
Right?
Since you will be getting married, I mean,
I will be soon. Yep, next year.
Tying the knot.
So
What
you got-
should we tell
so
them
you gotta
about
find
that?
a videographer is what you're saying?
wait, did I break the wrong news? I don't know.
No, you're fine. Everyone knows. But yeah, I do have to find a videographer. She's like, oh, I don't know if we need one. I'm like, "Oh, we kind of do need one because I
Can't
sell
video
these
our own
videos to
stuff."
people, like I gotta have one.
If you can film your own wedding, you're next level, man.
Yeah.
And then the bubble party.
Yep, we just talked about the Bobo Party. That's going to be at the Sunlink Center. There's a horseshoe tournament going on at Ken Park. And then Peace in the Park, too. I'm really excited about that. You can go and get some serenity.
I was gonna say, what's that?
I know. No, it's at Rotary Park. It's a big deal. Some yoga, some Reiki. I mean, you're not interested, but I'm interested.
Shane doesn't look like
Yeah,
he's
you used to do
impressed
that
with
kind
it.
of stuff, right?
Yeah, I
Didn't-
could do yoga. That's it. We
Oh.
should do yoga on the show one day. Want to?
That's why Christy and I have balance. She's very peaceful, and I'm the
Yeah,
opposite.
you two
of
can.
that.
I said, "Hey Shane, can I come do yoga with your football players?" He's like,
I think
Do I
made
have
that
to?
actual
"Yeah." He's like,
noise.
"Really?"
Yeah, we could get Shane on camera doing yoga right here, though. I'm gonna have to
know.
move the table.
Oh
be good.
Lord. What's the one where you just lay there?
The sleeping pose.
I could
you
do
just
that
wanna
one.
sleep.
That's my yoga. So
Yes. Well,
Very
I'm
exciting.
excited that you're here because we were not sure that you were going to be here to do the interview.
I wasn't either, but here I am, and I'm super excited.
We did miss you.
That's what I like to
It's
hear.
a little quiet without your.
Yeah.
Me barking around all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm there for.
And it's a lot to keep track of what Jeff's doing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's wild.
A lot of stuff back here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, well, like I said, I'm very appreciative that you guys held the rope. I know it's a pain in the butt when I'm off site for days at a time sometimes, and I appreciate it. So thank you very
course.
much.
Well, the ACES is a big deal, and so I'm excited to see how that works out.
I am super excited for it too. And if you don't know, the ACES is we recognize top, student athletes, teachers, and I'll tell you, for all the times that people sit around and say, gosh, this generation, or what are we doing here? Going out and seeing that and talking to these kids is the complete opposite. You're like, holy cow, these kids are amazing. They're halfway through college. They're, volunteering. They're changing things in their school. They're going and doing big national things, going to universities, and you go, oh, we're going to be okay. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the nice thing that I've noticed, and maybe Facebook can notarize this a little bit more now, that there's a lot of kids from town that go to school now that are going off to college, whether it's sports or academics. So I'm proud and pretty impressed with our students and our schools.
So I
and
apologize
that
if I
going
ever say anything bad about the youth. They're
on. I know,
okay.
take it back.
They're all right.
Take it back.
They're
All
okay,
right, what do you
so.
think? Should we get to our?
I'm very excited to talk to our guests. So
All right, we're out.
I'll see you guys.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Here we have it.
Here I am. My special guest, the Bullet City Chief of Police. Sir,
Good morning.
pleasure to meet you. Well, we've actually met before, so pleasure to have you on the show. And I tell you, I wanted to start out by telling you how much I enjoyed seeing you make an effort to get out in the community. Was that a conscious effort, or was that more of a getting out and kind of seeing what's going on in town?
Yeah, so I appreciate that question. I think in my almost 20 years now of law enforcement and a student of history, I watched kind of how law enforcement has evolved over the last several decades. And I think over time we kind of lost that core mission of getting out in the community, building those relationships, making sure that we're doing the things that citizens want to see out of their police department. And so it was absolutely a conscious effort. I think Bullhead PD has done a good job. But as with everything, I think you can do better. And so there was a lot of ideas that I had in order to get us more out in the community.
I don't know if eating bunch of chilies was one of them, but that's where I ran into you the one time, and I say one time, it's almost every day. So
Right.
not you, but me. But I've seen you out at community events around the schools, and I'll tell you, I think it's great because it really puts a different perspective on seeing you in a in the moment of some type of police action, being an accident, a crime, whatever else. And it was very enjoyable to see the people interacting. The last year or two of, policing has to have been just crazy. It went from, what we knew to all this craziness to what it sounds like you're doing now, coming out the other side of what is like kind of the new way of going about it.
Yeah, right. So over the last couple of years, kind of starting in 2014, but certainly over the last couple of years, there's been some really bad negativity about police, and some of that we own. Some of that law enforcement has done wrong. And that's another thing that I've noticed over my career that I wanted to make sure that we don't do wrong. Here in Mojave County, Arizona specifically, we get a lot of support, and that's a blessing because there's other places in the country you don't get that. And so making sure that we keep building those relationships, keep the things that I've already inherited from great people who have come before me to establish that, making sure that we build on that. Also, like I said, being a student of history, specifically our constitutional republic, as opposed to anywhere else in the world, Americans enjoy something that no one else has in human history, and that is your government is put there by the citizens, and your government's supposed to be responsible to the citizens. And so it's just, for me, it's something I'm just passionate about, I care about, and I want to make sure that we're listening to what our citizens have to say.
No, I think that's a great approach, and I think you're right. There was some, obviously not being on your side of things, but there was a point where we kind of lost sight of what that was, and it's great to see people put a focus on it, and that really is, serving the people is what our government is all about. So
Absolutely.
Very cool. What else do you have going on that's kind of in line with those efforts? Like you said, you're making a conscious effort to get out there more. You're making a conscious effort to be a little more aware of what's going on. What are some other things that you're actively doing to accomplish that goal?
Yeah, so one of the big things I think you had just mentioned in the last segment about the youth, right? And so what I want to make sure we do is that we get involved in schools, that we're there, what we call positive non-enforcement contacts. So we're not out there because of call for service. We're not out there to arrest somebody.
You guys always have great names for that
stuff.
Right.
So I want to make sure that we get involved in the schools. I encourage our officers, if local schools are having a basketball game or whatever, if they're not taking a call, they've got their radio on, stop into the gym. Stop in, cheer on the local team. Some other things that we're working on, so that we've done and we're going to continue to do now is when schools get back in session after summer break and Christmas break, is for the first week we're going to get our officers out. We're going to hold graveyards over. They're going to get out into the school zones, have their lights on, slowing people down. But also, I'm asking them, encouraging them to get out and interact with the students. And I'm happy to say that without having to be told, every one of our officers got out. They're high-fiving kids, encouraging them to get back in class. Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing to watch. And that's the kind of thing that I think keeps those relationships going, because there's the next generation of citizens that say, hey, you know what, the police, they're pretty good in our community.
I had an interaction with one of your officers. Was not in trouble this time. So, but I ran into the gentleman you have at the high school, at Mojave High School.
Oh, yes.
And he came in, worked out with the boys,
yeah.
Chit-chatted, this, that, and the other thing. And what a nice guy, great energy. And you talk about viewing an officer in a different light than when you're in a hot situation, And I really enjoyed it. So I don't know where you found that guy, but he was a riot. So much appreciated.
Yeah. So we went through a selection process on what I believe the philosophy should be for a school resource officer. We asked one of the vice principals to sit on our board so they have some input on who we select to go work at their school. I thought that was appropriate, that they would have a say-so in that. They need to be able to have a relationship with the person we're sending there too. And this young man was just amazing, the effort that he put forth on his written response on why he should be selected. He did extremely well through the interview process. And yeah, I mean, he's just a go-getter. He
Tell you what
is.
else I liked. He squatted 300 pounds, which I thought was impressive.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah, he's a pretty tough guy too. Yeah, for sure.
If he would have went in there and squatted 135 pounds, those kids would have been like, nope, not this guy. He went in there, put some work in. That's important.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So he's been doing amazing, and I hear so much positive feedback, and that's so great to hear when you have teachers, parents, administrators coming and telling you, hey man, your guy is doing a fantastic
That's fantastic.
job.
I think that's a great move. Now I know you have some actual policing to do, and one of those things that creates challenges are, we have a tourism town. We have people coming in, going out, towing trailers, doing all this other stuff, and you're kind of coming into like a sweet spot because you have this bike run coming up this week.
Yeah.
What kind of challenges does that create? I can't imagine that you get to bring in a huge excess force like Metro used to do back in the day to manage that.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
There was like a fleet of horses roaming around. I can't imagine we're doing that. But how do you manage that a little bit? Do you just stay in? We talked to Larry putting on the event. Nice guy. He's on his game. He's got plans. He's got structure. He's got security. How much of that is working with him? How much of that is just kind of being prepared?
Yeah, so first I'd like to say that in my time at Bullhead City, when City Manager Cotter took over, I think it was 2010, he has done such a fantastic job getting so much tourism here, the sports tourism. The council's been so supportive of putting our parks together, or what they used to be when I first got to Bullhead. I mean, it's just amazing. So we're getting all this stuff in here, but with getting these crowds coming in, it does pose a challenge. So specifically on the biker run, previously, as you well know, it was over in Laughlin, and as you mentioned, Metro, they could bring 400 officers down. They've got an intel unit, they got, a mounted unit, aerial units, and all those things we don't have. And so it does pose some challenges. So in this first year that this is going on, we don't really know what to expect. So I reached out to Department of Public Safety, Arizona DPS, and asked them to provide some resources for this year. They're providing substantial resources to plan for this, because even though we love encouraging people and events to come here, my job is to keep the citizens safe. And so DPS, wonderful agency. They've got a great leader in Colonel Silbert, and he's always willing to have his agency help out agencies like ours, and I'm very grateful for that. So yeah, they've got a lot of resources that are going to be coming down for this week and helping us out, and so they have a lot of units that we don't have, like those intel units, and they've got other things.
Are they bringing horses?
No, we don't have any horses, unfortunately. Those are a sight to see. But so we're planning for this event, like I said, kind of not knowing what to expect. I mean, it could be 5,000, it could be 10,000. So we're planning for that bigger crowd.
He said 20,000.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly
You
could.
never
No, we're not ready
right?
for 20.
Yeah. And
That
so,
changes everything.
and working with Larry, we've been meeting with him. I've had our gang unit and our captain has been meeting with Larry to try to say, hey, here's kind of what we're seeing, as far as intel goes. Here's what we think should be in place, and just working with him so he's understanding what we're seeing and the things that we have to prepare for, and and then he can plan accordingly. So.
Very good. Like I said, I know we live in such a unique area, and one of the unique things that we actually have that I don't even know how you even get started on that is the river. I mean, so you just talk about all the craziness that goes on right on the banks of the river, but then you talk about, you guys have, how many boats do you guys have? How many offers do you have out there? It's a whole unique thing that other places don't ever have to think about or deal with.
Yeah, right. And the unfortunate thing is, so we sit in this tri-state area. So there's 3 states around here, and there's multiple agencies, but for as long as I've known, Bullhead's been the lead agency out on the water. We get some help from Nevada Department of Wildlife. We get some help from Arizona Game and Fish, but we're the primary agency out there. So we have 5 boats. We don't have 5 boats on the river every single day just because of manpower. So what we do, like we do with anything, is we deploy our resources to where they're needed the most, whether a section of the river, days of the week, and such. We also, thankfully again, City Manager Cotter and our council have been so supportive to go out and We contract with a water rescue and safety. They're certified lifeguards out on jet skis that help us patrol the river. They help with medical issues. They help with crashes. They help with a whole bunch of things that our mission would not be successful without them. So, yeah, right after this bike run, we're right into river season, and it gets busy. It gets, it can get a little wild. But I will tell you that the way we've been doing things, even though there's at least a tenfold increase of traffic on the river, the accidents don't show a tenfold increase, and I'm happy to say it's because the job that our guys and gals are doing out there of keeping us safe.
All those local guys are talking about. We drive by and, which is great. Community parks packed full, Davis camps packed full, and we all go, get me out of here, and it's just, we have so many people come into town to enjoy it. I mean, I have friends who move out of area, and almost everyone's like, man, I miss the river.
Yeah.
The river here is dirty. Oh, the river here, you can't go out and you can't do this. Our river is such a great resource. So
it is.
Now, I told you I wouldn't talk about any controversial topics, but I got to bring it up. These dang center medians.
Oh, boy.
Are they helping, or are they driving everybody crazy?
It seems to me that it's driving a lot of people crazy.
Yeah, okay. It's not just me. Okay, so that's the important
Did
thing.
it cut down on the accidents though? I mean, that was the purpose of it.
I haven't seen a noticeable decrease, but time will tell. You can look at averages. Looking at a 1 year span is not good. When you look at 3 to 5 year spans, then you can kind of get a feel for it. So we'll wait and see how it turns out. For
Well,
sure.
I'll tell you, Shane's ratio of bad words driving has gone up. So I know that statistic is rock solid.
Yeah,
So.
it does make it more difficult on us when we have the section of the center median up in the North Bullhead area. Just simple traffic. We see something going on the other way, we can't turn around on them anymore, so we have to go to those
You
areas.
guys start
that we can
hopping
turn
those
around.
curbs and breaking your cars, we'll fix them for you.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I don't know how it's going to help you in the moment. You know what I mean? So that's always interesting. Now, we talked a little bit about the river, things like that. Do you guys do like river ride-alongs or anything? I can send Destry out there, get some video.
We actually do.
Do like a community spotlight of what you guys actually do and deal with.
We do ride-alongs both in the car or out on the river. We've had that in the
Bullhead
past.
cops.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Really
Well, they
cool.
used to have, that local station that would, I forget.
TV2.
TV2, yeah, that did that for a while.
Yep.
And yeah, we're all for that. One of the things that I think we need to do better at, I mean, I always half jokingly say we need to take a page out of the fireman's playbook. They're happy to tell everybody how great they are. And so we need to do that better, right? And if that means having ride-alongs with media or whatever the case may be to show what our guys and gals are doing out there, I think that's a good thing.
I think part of that, going back to what we started talking about, where there was this transition period where, this has always been the norm, and then we had all this craziness over COVID, and, everyone started looking at the police differently. And like you said, it's very unique. We have such a, conservative 2A base out here and this and that we're probably not as affected as most, but it really has kind of come back to, holy cow, we need the police and we need them to be good.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen places where they've not embraced that and they're struggling. I mean, things are just a hot mess in some of these places. And I think that, we are going in the right direction. I know, I saw a advertisement, you're hiring officers, and you had to
Yes.
jump over a wall, and I was like, I'm out on that one. So, but obviously, if that's the lens you're looking through, you're going to hire the right people, do the right things, and I very seriously would love to send the guys out and do a community spotlight on the police department. I don't know if you've seen any of those segments we do, but we've always done it on businesses and things like that. I would really like to extend that same reasoning that we want to show the community how good things are here. And it would be great to do it with you guys.
I would be happy to have that happen.
Give us a quick little tour of your facilities, some of the things you do, whatever you're able to do or willing. We'd love to do that and really feature you guys. Like I said, I really enjoyed seeing you out in the community, and I know the previous police chief was a nice guy and he was out and about, but I think I talked to him maybe 3 times ever, and I think I've talked to you 3 times in the last 2 weeks. So, and I'm out and about. I'm in the community every day. So if I'm seeing you out there, so is everybody else.
I appreciate that.
What
very much.
What are some of the other things you guys have going on? I know that we kind of covered what I wanted to talk about. Do you guys have any events coming up? Like you mentioned, hiring.
Yeah.
What else do you guys have going on that
Anything
you want to get
exciting?
out there?
Yeah, so back to some of the community events. We did our first Coffee with a Cop last November 3rd, and I thought it went well. We were at TASA. We sat down and kind of game planned what we're going to be doing in the future. We want to do we haven't finalized yet. We're hoping to do a Donuts with the Cops, right? Kind of, get the whole donut cop
You're just
thing.
gonna play right into
Right?
it, huh?
Yeah, I'm fine with I'm fine with that.
No one ever says donuts with a car guy, but I promise you, it's donuts with a car guy.
We're also looking at another, that would be in June if it goes through, for National Donut Day. And we're also looking, we found another fun idea. National Hot Dog Day comes up in July, so we're hoping to team up with a local business. And what we want to do is number one, we'd like to highlight businesses that are in the community, but we want to give people a chance to come in those non-enforcement situations and just ask questions, talk to the police, get to know us. Let us explain whatever it is that's on your mind about that. So we're doing those types of things. Also, one of the big things that's really important to me about making I want to make Bullhead the most professional police force in the nation. And one of those things is training that we do. We started last year, just completed it this year, 40 hours of A to Z constitutional law training with, in my opinion, the best constitutional lawyer as it applies to policing in the nation. He's been doing it for over 41 years. His name is Randy Means with Randy Means and Associates. Phenomenal guy, amazing. We got everybody through, nuts and bolts from, what's reasonable suspicion, probable cause, all the way through doing search warrants. And I asked him, because he's trained personally over 500,000 people personally and in every state in the union. And I asked him, I said, do you know of another agency that's done this, 40 hours for everybody? He says, no, I'm not aware of one. And so that goes back to the heart of our mission, right? We're out there to protect lives, keep the community safe, but we're also up there to uphold your constitutional rights. And we need to get that right. You guys entrust us with so much power and authority. We need to get that right, and that's part of what we're doing here at Bullhead PD.
Yeah, that's very powerful, and I couldn't agree more. Some of the things they've talked about, non-lethal things, this, that, and the other thing. We don't see a lot of it here, but it seems like either we have better news coverage or we have seen an uptick in violent crimes or things in the area, not necessarily Bullhead City. So I'm lumping you in a little bit with just general culture here.
Sure.
And again, that goes back to us having such a unique, you're Bullhead City, then you're Fort Mojave, then you're Indian Land, and then you're, California.
Yeah.
All in, one little walk. So,
Yeah.
Is there really an uptick in things, or I think nationally there is, or is it just a perception thing? Is it?
No, definitely nationally. Let me start there first. Nationally, there is absolutely a huge increase in major crimes, whether there be murders, shootings, armed robberies. It's bad. The empirical data is everywhere now. It shows that. This is the worst since the early 90s for sure. I think a lot of those policies that you mentioned, dating back 2 years ago with the incident that was happening with George Floyd and stuff. Again, some things we've done wrong in law enforcement, and they do need to change. But I think, in my opinion, an overreaction in some of those areas of talking about defunding the police. Well, those areas
or
are
abolishing a police force entirely.
Right, and so those areas now are saying, "Oh, wait a minute, we're getting a bunch of crime."
Yeah, if
now.
I was a homeowner there, I'd be like, "Get me out of here."
Yeah. So I think with that, and now they're trying to refund their police departments, and amazingly. But I think that just kind of spreads, right? So we don't necessarily have a problem here locally, but we do get some problems coming from other areas that want to maybe take up refuge here. But so we battle that a little bit, but we're way better off than a lot of areas in this country for sure.
Yeah.
We got a question in the chat real quick, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Yes, I need a haircut, Jeff. What?
No, it wasn't that. Somebody asked, Carol actually asked if you were going to bring back the police auxiliary.
Yeah, so that's an idea that we've been thinking
what is
about.
the police
So the police
auxiliary
is they're volunteers. And when I first got to Bullhead, there was a long-standing auxiliary program where we'd have them. They would come in. They're in uniforms. They go through certain training. We would utilize them for special events, traffic, and just a whole bunch of different things. During COVID, as a lot of things got stopped then, it got stopped. Just, allowing people coming in and out of the police department that didn't have to be there. So, yes, we are looking at that in the future. I don't know. I would want to retool it a little bit to make it kind of got to the point where it wasn't as functional as it used to be. So if we did bring it back, I'd want to make sure that we have a very good mission for it and provide a good service for the citizens.
Cool. So there is a use for it as long as it's
as long as it's productive.
Yeah, improved with the way things have always
Yeah.
needed to improve. So many things just kind of get left alone.
Yeah.
And then the times, I won't say pass them by, but situations change, needs change.
Yeah, yeah.
We see it in the car business all the time. What used to be an inner department was the one guy who could type, and now it's a 10-man team. So,
Yeah, that's true.
If we would have never evolved out of that, we would have never got to
Right.
where we're at here. So.
Also, we got a picture of you we wanted you to elaborate on.
Oh, yes. So as I had mentioned before we got on, that is actually one of my most favorite pictures. Unfortunately, the best part of it for me is cropped out. So that was almost 7 years ago, and my son had just been born, so he was a couple days old, and I'm actually holding him in that picture.
I don't know who cropped that picture, but man, they robbed us of the best part.
I know it. I know
he
it.
said
Yeah.
7 years
Yeah.
old?
Yeah, he's almost 7. He'll be 7 in June, so it was almost 7 years ago. And I just love that. We've got that picture hanging on my wall at home, and
That's
I just love it.
Oh, it's a
Thank
great
you
picture.
for that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
How does, what you do and having a family and all that stuff, how does that kind of all encompass into one thing, right? I'm sure that when you go into work every day, you think about how would I want my kid to be treated? How would, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What community do I want from? I know I do. When I go, man, I want my kids to have better than there is now. That's why I stay at what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of my why, you know what I mean? I'd imagine it's a much grander scale for you.
Yeah, for sure. So my wife kind of half jokingly says that, ever since we've been together, she goes, "I'm glad you're not a cop anymore," because I'm not out on the street,
Wait,
right?
wait. What?
Yeah, she says that half jokingly because she sees, police officers, take an oath to uphold that Constitution, but they're also, when they take that oath, they're going out there and they're putting their lives on the line. Every day you don't know what could happen. And so that, we take that very serious. And talking about, the community and the family and stuff like that, I think that's what drives us. I know it certainly drives me. I want to make sure that, our community is safe. I want to make sure that people can enjoy that American dream, go out, go to parks and go to schools and not have to worry about crime, So that's very important to me. When I teach down at the academy, I still teach some classes. I don't get to teach as much as I used to, but one of the things that I talk about, I have in the ethics and professional class, I have all the recruits stand up and tell me why they wanted to be a police officer. And I start off by telling them, don't tell me that oral board answer about keeping the community safe, because I know that's important and I know that. Tell me why. And it usually comes down to two answers. One, they had a family in law enforcement, or two, it's because of a positive interaction with a police officer. And I say, you guys got to remember that. Every time you put on your badge and your gun and you walk out there, every single contact, you have to be as positive as that situation allows you to be and be professional. And it does drive us to make sure that, look, I want my kids to be able to go to the park. I want my kids to be able to go out and do whatever and not have to worry about these things. So it absolutely drives us to make sure that those things are done right and to keep everybody safe. And, it is a hard balance because we deal with, they say 10% of the population 90% of the time. So you see people at their worst, and it's hard to keep that balance about coming home and you had, a number of horrible things that happen, but you still got to pay attention to your family and make sure that you're doing the right thing as a parent.
Staying positive.
Yep.
Yeah, we had talked about it, off camera before, and one of the sales managers in here holding a meeting, and we were like, man, we do that in the car business. We go home and we're like, we're done. Like, we're tapped out. I can't imagine, dealing with that 10%, at the worst, and then going home to a family. So we really appreciate, and I think the world is starting to really appreciate the police force again. We really enjoy having you. Like I said, I joke about running into you at Chili's, but I ran into you at Chili's a couple times. But every time I see you, it's a great interaction, and I really appreciate you coming on.
Well, thank you for having me.
And we would like to get involved and maybe go out and do a community
Yeah.
spotlight with you. Give you guys an opportunity to kind of tell your story like we have so many other businesses. So
I would be very appreciative of that.
that'd be great, man.
Stay
It was
tuned
a
for that
pleasure.
one.
Thank you so much.